Do you know Mr. Mjaanes?
No,
Oh, what have you heard about him?
I've heard he's a crazy man.
You know Mr. Mjaanes?
Oh, God.
He's just sitting there. What is he thinking about?
How did you like his class? What class did you have?
I had China with him. I can remember just like so many moments of that class just really had a huge impact on me. Like the time that Kristen Wood brought in a lobster.
The lobster monster.
And demonstrated how China as the lobster monster ate Taiwan by throwing slips of paper at the live lobster.
First hour, a girl brought in a live lobster, and when I walked in, second hour. When I walked in second hour, it was sitting right on my desk.
One time we got brought in a real lobster and gave it to Mjaanes.
But it was a friendly little fellow. We called him Larry. Larry Lobster.
And then later on that day, Mr. Mjaanes killed the lobster.
We ate the lobster later.
Yeah, I think that it got dehydrated or something.
But he died.
Aw.
And then later in the day, I was accused of being a lobster killer, which of course was not true because I tried everything to keep it alive. But it just, it's time has come.
I found out one day that he has an iPod, and I was very surprised by that.
He has a good collection of 8 tracks, I believe.
I have an iPod.
He doesn't exactly seem like the kind of guy who would have any idea what to do with, like, technology.
Yeah, it's filled with folk music.
I mean, sometimes he delves in current technology. I think that he used a stapler once.
President Bush picked up his stapler phone and he said, "Hey, get out of the car for a cigarette!" And then he slammed the stapler down on the desk, and that woke up anybody who happened to be sleeping in the back of the room. His violent hanging up of the stapler phone.
What happened to your old stapler phone? It looks like you got a
Somebody
new
stole
one.
it.
And whenever two parties are engaging in a sort of struggle that involves explosives, Mjaanes will take up his chalkboard eraser and he will throw it violently across the room, symbolizing the unleashing of explosives. Sometimes he makes sounds, like sound effects, like or something like that. Sometimes he yells. Doesn't look like he's really trying to not hit students, he kind of just throws it. But it's an eraser, it's not going to hurt. It's more a symbolic symbol for a bomb.
Flannel has been a staple of the Mjaanes fashion world for centuries now.
Oh, first of all, it's not a joke. It's a truism.
And yes, in fact, he used to drive a flannel car. The material of the car was actually flannel, and it was easily recognizable for quite a distance.
Ross said that?
Yeah.
He's crazy.
A flannel balloon floating across the countryside with him in it, with 3 or 4 shirts on.
The true story is I was attending Mr. Ross's 40th surprise birthday party.
There was an excuse used as a pretense to get me over to my mother's house where a bunch of people, ostensibly my friends, had gathered to celebrate this.
We were all there, obviously, before him. That's why it was a surprise for him. And I was talking to Mr. Ross's mother, who was a retired teacher from Memorial. She knew hardly anybody in the room except me, and somehow I knew her vaguely. So I went over to talk to her and be nice to her, because everybody else was younger and they weren't talking. So I'm standing there talking to his mom, and somebody yells, "He's coming, he's coming."
I opened the door, and it was all dark, and I looked over, and there was Mr. Mjaanes in my mother's condo, skulking around.
And so they all went and hid behind a curtain and turned the lights off so it would be dark. But I was talking with Mom. So we just stood there and talked. I mean, we're kind of past the age of being surprised at much of anything. So we were standing there talking. Suddenly he opens the door, and since we were 3 feet away, he sees me talking to his mom.
And it made me feel like I was in a dream or perhaps a nightmare, and I didn't know what to say. And then about 10 seconds, well, no, probably 5 seconds later, people went like, surprise, but the moment was lost, like a surprise party. You walk in and you go, surprise. Nobody pulled that off right, but that's another issue.
So he goes to class the next day and talks about me skulking around his apartment.
So I then described that experience as Mr. Mjaanes skulking. He took issue with the term skulk after looking it up in the dictionary, and said he wasn't skulking.
It's totally bogus. I was being nice, and I get misrepresented, and now he tells that story year after year after year. It's pathetic.
He is the bomb, man.
The bomb.
Mr. Mjaanes, the bomb.
Mr. Mjaanes, get up, down, drop the bombshell. And he is the bomb, of course. But
No, it has to be
The bomb.
he's the bomb.
Mr. Mjaanes is the bomb.
Mr. Mjaanes is the bomb.
Oh, wait, one last question. Have you ever thought of retiring?
Yeah. I've thought about it, but I don't think I will yet.
Okay.
I'm
Because
gonna start thinking of it. It could be any day. Anyway, but this is the first year I've ever really thought about it.